is Wayne Hsiung, and I am co-founder and executive director of the Simple Heart Initiative. Everybody's trying to figure out how they can personally have the greatest impact for animals. And I think the thing that most people miss is that probably the most important factor is your network. Who do you know? What knowledge do they have? What relationships and collaborations can you build? And AVA has been the best place in the movement over the last few years to build your network. Populism is a tremendously powerful force. I think it's increased by 500% over the last couple of years, according to the Tony Blair Institute. And it is, despite all the chaos and protest and riots it has triggered around the globe, it has also created an incredible opportunity. And the reason is populist movements are grounded in a lack of faith in existing institutions. And there's one institution that we as animal advocates want people to lose faith in, and that is our food system. If people realize that our food is not actually food, very often it's produced with cruelty and violence that are so unconscionable that people can barely even tolerate to see it, then they're going to be more supportive of transformative change. And I think it would be foolhardy for any social movement to ignore these populist forces that are trying to not just bring down, but transform our current institutions and make new ones that are better. Direct action is powerful because you're not going to convince anyone to change if you're not willing to be the change you'd like to see in the world. And if we say we want animals to be free, we have to free them ourselves. There's something incredibly powerful about just role modeling the behavior you want to see become the standard in the world. And that's especially true when it creates incredibly dramatic and powerful narratives. And in a world where merely taking a sick and injured animal out of a cage to the veterinarian can lead you to be charged with federal felonies, it's a sacrifice for sure, but it creates a tremendous storyline that attracts people from across the world to the story of the movement, even if prior to their exposure to the story, they didn't care about it. I think understanding the system is crucial to anyone who's trying to change it. So I went to law school partly so I could develop that understanding. I also think that there are a lot of people caught up in the system, including people who work in factory farms, laboratories, fur farms, who are actually good people who can be reached. But fundamentally, there are times in a society's narrative and evolutionary arc where the systems that exist are so broken and corrupt, there's not a lot of hope in trying to reform them, and we need something more transformative. And I think we're in one of those times right now when it comes to animal agriculture. This is a system that is destroying the planet, it is endangering human health, and it is torturing and killing sentient beings on a scale that has never before been seen in human history, in the planet's history. And if this is not the sort of system that needs to be challenged with direct action, then I don't know what system is. So I think the other thing I'd say about this is powerful systems have almost like an immune system that prevents smaller changes from affecting them over the long term, right? It's whatever effort we make, there are ways for the industry, for the people who want to continue profiting off of animal exploitation, to try and make it go away. So for example, we pass a law that makes sure it's not enforced. We impose some corporate commitment, the corporation just waits it out, ignores us until the activists lose steam and don't fulfill the commitment they've made. The only way to make it so that we are not the ones who are constantly straining and striving and trying to push and plead and beg and use every ounce of our energy to get any small gain is to rewrite the landscape entirely. And that's what direct action does. It starts us from ground zero and says, we need to build a better system for everyone. What I'd say is that the risk is worth it, and whatever risk you're taking. That might be just going out there and doing outreach, even though it's scary to talk to people you don't know. It might be donating a little more money, but then you think you're necessarily able to donate. But I think a lot of people have this sense of defeatism, that the world out there is filled with meat eaters, it's filled with people who support this industry, and that's just not true. Because in the litigation that has unfolded over the last couple of years, we found time and time again, when you show people the truth, and you give them a chance to deliberate on it, they're on our side. And I'll just give you one example. We've gone into some of the most conservative agricultural regions of the country, some regions of the country where 25% or more of the population works for factory farms. And we won unanimous jury verdicts. And the reason is because it turns out even people in these conservative and rural areas of the country do not want to see animals being hurt. It's something universal to the human experience. And if you believe that, and I think you should believe that, that will make you far more optimistic about what this movement can achieve.